up. Give me a moment. Oh, wait a minute. Boop. Okay, cool.
My time to shine. Moving quick.
Nerf Trader. Oh, her ult, yeah.
I'll take over now.
We have a bit of a dilemma. We have to do the Anby video. Alright, we'll have to be in the context of not having we do a bit of dilemma. I don't know what that's.
Don't even try.
Hello. Just better than me. Poker's not that bad. Poker's genuinely not that bad. Minutes.
How about a cup of joe? A little bitterness can make is all the more. You know, coffee is not a must, but a calm and relaxed mindset sure is.
All right. Hello. So we have one major dilemma for the day.
My time to shine.
Basically, it's a lot of what we've been talking about with Anby. So the right way to phrase this. She's kind of bad on release. And I need a way to express that in the video. Because the nerfs hit her very hard, and I expect her to get buffed back up to closer to where she was before. But no, that didn't happen. Anby got nerfed again, actually. So this is our big dilemma. So we have to figure out a way to put this into a video without it sounding horrible. Her power budget is in Trigger. Unfortunately, it's not. Trigger is also a little bad. Yeah, this is our big dilemma. We have to figure out a way around it. All level. Okay. Here's the thing. She is releasing without Trigger. If you want to talk about how good a Trigger is, we can do that. Max potential harm loss equivalent. He has better AoE.
The joy that this delicious composition brings. I'll be waiting for your next.
How much worse can Anby got nerfed by like 40%? Anby got nerfed by like 40%. Anby's like 40% worse than she was at the start of beta. Or something like that. No sig comparisons. Isn't that good? Power creep is down? Yes, power creep is down. You didn't know it was this bad? Because I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. Is she worse than Yanagi? No, not really. I maybe one just accept Void Hunter Chud. Honestly, yeah. Honestly, yeah. I'll still hate it, but it's true. We would also need to kind of... We can put a number to how good Trigger is. Calling her bad is just wrong. Yes, we can call her underwhelming compared to more recent releases. That is what we can call her. We can call her underwhelming. She'll age like a milk. No, because she has a new mechanic. The narrative is her mechanic is new, so her teams don't exist yet. She has a significant amount of her power budget in giving 70 crit damage for Aftershock attacks, but the current Aftershock characters don't do any damage, so it's useless. It's kind of a useless passive. We can call her Topaz if you guys want. We could definitely call her Topaz. Yeah, that is my dilemma. And that is what we kind of need to figure out how to navigate without people having a very visceral reaction and without people going, hey, you lied to me. You said Anby would be very good. That is also something I don't want to hear. and I want to try to avoid. Does Anby need trigger? No. The problem is that trigger isn't saving Anby. It's not that she doesn't really need trigger. Okay, at minimum, Anby is Haramasa that can play in double support with the additional active. That is the worst case scenario. Haramasa who can play in double support with her additional active. That is the pitch for worst case scenario, Anby.
Your journey ends with me.
We also need to talk about... Anby's engine is much better than Haramasa's. So if you say that the amount that Anby is better than a Haramasa in like Chingy Nicole is not significant enough, you'd actually be not wrong. Does that mean more? Yes, her engine is better than Evelyn's. Reliant is a really strong word, but Anby's engine is better than Evelyn's, if that's what you wanted to hear.
The best defense is a strong offense.
Voted to be overly dramatic. Does Yanagi lack numbers? If you want to say compared to more like the expectation went up post Miyabi, then sure. Or maybe we just. I think I like this Yanagi equivalency pitch. I think I like this pitch. I do like this pitch. I like this idea. I like this angle. Yeah. The days of an engine being worse than Brimstone will probably never happen again. Because it was potentially never intended in the first place. Or they changed their mind. One or the other. Eight dashes is a meme. Yes, if most people do 8 dash Haramasa, then Anby's very good. True. Very true.
Your journey ends with me.
Oh, what? Trigger hasn't been nerfed. The devs are just using an out-of-date build. They were actually using a development build for 1.7 though. So it's possible they just didn't have any of the 1.6 changes. So it's possible. That's the most likely scenario. They were looking at 1.7. Because the build on the dev stream, it showed Vivian in the roster select.
is a strong offense. Together,
Is she 30% behind? Yes.
all exits are now free.
That's roughly the number. Especially without trigger. Like, okay, here's like the thing. People's expectations are going to be colored by playing her without trigger. There is like hope that people won't make a snap judgment, or people will like put all of their hopes on trigger. And they could potentially be let down by trigger. She may not be as good as people want her to be. Which is, I guess, the other big thing. Trigger isn't that great either. Trigger isn't. Right now, as far as we understand, Trigger isn't that great either. Trigger is like a personal damage-oriented character who has no personal damage. It's weird that so much of Anby's kit is put into buffing additional damage of teammates when her teammates do no damage. It's very odd. It's a very odd choice that I don't exactly fully understand. Yeah. It's a very odd choice. Pulchra did damage, and then they went out of their way to remove it. They went out of... Which is, again, an odd choice.
Your journey ends with me.
I don't think anyone understands it. The Anby is, like, fine. If you want to compare her to Yanagi, that's fair. I'm probably not wrong. She's probably still better than DPS Yanagi, I'll be honest. I would expect her to still be better than DPS Yanagi.
The best defense is a strong offense.
At least that's my expectation. That isn't a compliment. Why would that not be a compliment? You could say it's not a compliment right now. Yanagi is good. Yanagi is great. Yanagi isn't good. Yanagi is great. Is Bernice's weapon necessary? No, it's technically one of the worst engines. I recommend getting Evelyn without lighter. No, I really don't. Be honest, I really don't. So the verdict. I'm trying to figure out how to deliver it correctly. Because, like, I do have a verdict in mind, but I don't think it's... I need to deliver it with enough tact. To make it not sensationalized. I'll just say Anby is disappointing. basically. M1, Bernice's M2 is team-wide 20% pen. I don't know what her M1 does. It's probably something with her burn mechanic.
The best defense is a strong offense.
More afterburn damage. Oh, that's nice. Disappointing might be too strong of a word. Is it? I think it's the appropriate word. I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. I think it's the appropriate word, I'm gonna be honest. I think it's the appropriate. They beat the allegations. The chronological tier list, I am going to stop pushing it because it's over. The joke is dead. It's no longer true. The joke is dead. It arguably never really was true. Have a later release vibe. Yeah. We could stick with the narrative that... What I'm probably going to say is I am going to call out Trigger for being not as good as she should be. And I'm going to say it's possible they'll make better follow-up or Aftershock characters later. Is probably what I'm going to do. Release final. They launched the content creator server, so yeah. I really expected her to get buffed and not nerfed multiple times after the first change. I expected them to buff her back up, but they really didn't. So I guess the way to do it is for me to talk a little honestly about how when we did the changes video, I didn't want people to have a strong reaction to the nerfs, but they were quite bad. And I guess I'll explain that honestly. I think that's the plan. I'd be as honest as I can about that. And then we also talk about the, hey, she'll be better later.
Nothing slips through my.
Can we Doom? I don't want people Doom posting. I think it's extreme. It's a little silly. I don't like people Doom posting. Volkra? At least she's free. Volkra actually did get some of her nerfs reverted in that she buffs every damage type at M6 now, when she didn't before. So some of Volkra's nerfs have essentially been reverted. Do you make her better? Astra replacement? Yeah. You replace Astra and you replace Trigger. That's what you do. Trigger is DOA. I don't think Trigger is DOA. No. I just think Trigger could be better. I don't think Trigger is DOA. I think Trigger could be better. Trigger's fine. Trigger is fine for now, yeah. I just think she could be better. For...
Your journey ends with me.
Trigger could get preload buff. Trigger actually could be buffed. They've done it before. They've made changes to the second half character on preload. Trigger genuinely could be buffed. I wish they didn't buff Trigger to make up for it. It's complicated. Like, it's really, really complicated. Straight, yeah. The other thing is after... Anby's had nothing but nerfs. Anby has never gotten a single buff this beta. But let's also, like, not mischaracterize that. Anby has gotten nothing but nerfs. Trigger got buffed, and then nerfed. Chingy above to the variant, right? Yes. Chingy is also a first half character. But yes. Evelyn actually got a preload buff. Evelyn had nothing but buffs over her beta, which is the complete opposite, and why I expected Anby to release in a better state. So, I guess let me walk back the changes video. So, or explain the changes video first. So when I published the Anby changes video, I had the expectation that they would take an initial cut off the top and then build it back up. Maybe not quite to the original value, but to be closer to it. So I was very... It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Because I thought that she would be buffed and it wouldn't be a big deal. They nerfed her again? They nerfed her after that. So it suddenly became it suddenly is a much bigger deal. And then again, yeah. I was the dog in the burning house. So that is explaining myself and like why I didn't want to sound the alarms, because I didn't think it would stick. It ended up sticking. Which sucks. It's not even that she's bad, she just could have been better. Or was almost better. How strong is Anby? She is better than Harumasa. Her team could be better. Her team could be better. We also need to record the video today. Really, I'm wasting time. I should be recording the video, like, now.
Evokes 100 aromas.
Stall more. We need to record the video now. It needs to be now. It needs to be. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna quickly put together a skeleton of things to talk about, a topic list. Get a topic list together. Do a Bernice video. We will do one. Here, you want to see how bare bones I can make a talking point list? Check out my Soldier 11 guide. Check out my Soldier. What do you think? What do you think? Yeah, the Soldier 11 video might have been a speedrun. These are my talking points for Soldier 11. These were my talking. To make it look like that in docs, you go to page setup, and you switch to pageless, and you change the background color. We're talking. Soldier 0. Electric attack agent. I need to explain aftershock attacks. Silver Star. Is it called Silver Star? It's called Silver Star. Let's make a table for Silver Star build-up. B1, B2, B3, B4, B5. How many fucking attacks do I need? Dodge. Counter. Dash. Assist. Follow up. Quick assist. EX special. Ultimate. Chain. Okay, so this is the go value. 7. 7. 7. 808. 33. 16. Wait. RB5. 19, 18. Dash attack. 4. 8, 7. 50. Next special 100. Ultimate 100. And it's 23.4 now. Just 6. 9. Assist follow up. 24. 5. It's called Thunder Smite. Okay. Thunder Smite. Incentive. Attack. Gameplay. Silver Star. 2 or 3 times out. Side. Stun. Okay, we need this. Or this additional. No priority. Special. Basic. Chain. X. That's same thing. Dodge. Assist. Oh yeah, this is what I had a note on the joke from the Soldier 11 video. Did you guys like this joke in the Soldier 11 video? Because I thought it was too much, but I couldn't come up with anything better. Couldn't come up with anything. Dies of buh. Okay. Good. Anby. Disappointing. In. Or now. Lane. Why? Lamp shaded. The nurse in the changes video. Anby is 10% better than perfectly piloted Formosa in Chingy Recall team. Or most players will be 15% approx 15%. Slightly issue is that Anby's engine is a yields over 30%. A damage increase Free to play. Options. Comparison. Is much closer or non-existent without S-rank engines. Also, Genie sucks. Unlike Armasa, Soldier 0, and played double support with her additional ability active, making her strictly better here. Soldier 0. So play. Also has much more of her damage resources available outside stun. And once a primary field time agent. Cool. Anby. Double dips on crit damage because of her core, and crit damage better, and attack. Even attack. Sets, you're just gonna use Shadow Heart. Shadow Companion, what's it called? Shadow Harmony. New set. Farm it. Set it comes with is really good. 2-piece for Miyabi teams. %. The F. Action forward. 12% attack. 12% crit. Engines. We're not going to use Street Superstar, so we can just get that. And what is her engine called? Severed Innocence. %, over. Or Was being good for Miyabi teams. You know what's cool? Having higher anomaly mastery. You know, it's really cool. Mercado, no longer. Cool. You know what? Nah. You know, nah. Okra. Cool. All right, let's gap. It's showtime. Every character gets shit talk before release. Surprise Pikachu face, they're OP. Yeah. Surprise Pikachu face. We found tech that increases their damage. No way. Happened every time. It's happened. It's literally happened every time. All right, let's go. It's showtime. All right, it's showtime. Let's get moving. Soldier 11, reporting for duty. Addy's soldier, I'll take it from here. Said Soldier 0 to Soldier 11. This is Soldier 0, Anby. Addy's. Soldier 0. Frosty. Aww. Shockingly, Soldier 0 is an electric attack agent. She introduces a new mechanic called Aftershock attacks. What is an Aftershock attack? Aftershock is a new animation tag that they can add to any attack, making attacks deal 2 damage types. So the example we're going to use is Soldier 0. Soldier 0's additional attacks are Aftershock and special attacks. Pulchras are also special attacks, but triggers will be basic attacks. And this is attached to Soldier 0's Silver Star mark and White Thunder detonations for the Silver Star. What is Silver Star? As you attack enemies with Soldier 0, she builds up the Silver Star. Silver Star is the mark that you see on enemies. It's got 3 points. So it's a circle with 3 points. As you attack enemies, this gets filled up. How does it get filled up? Each attack has an associated Silver Star buildup value. This is a table of all of them. We're going to briefly talk about the highlights. B3 through 5 are the big basic attacks. Her dodge counter is 50. Her EX Special and Ultimate are 100. The way Silver Star works is it starts at 0 and it goes up to 100. Every 33.3 is a Aftershock attack, or a White Thunder. An Azure Flash. So the dodge counter contributing 50 out of 100 is an attack and a half. Or half of the Silver Star. Why am I talking about maxing the Silver Star? She has an attack called Thunder Smite. I don't know what I'm doing. Zeus Thunderbolt? Whatever. Thunder Smite. Anime lightning on the screen, something like that. Thunder Smite. Thunder Smite is a damage incentive for using the entire Silver Star at once. So when you do 3 White Thunder attacks and Azure Flashes, Thunder Smite will be triggered, giving you damage. Triggered. You get it? You know, because it's Trigger? Trigger, the character in the patch? Just explaining the joke ruin it? It might. Yes, that's part of the joke. Part of calling it out is part of the joke. But yes, so you want to ideally be using Anby's Silver Star all at once. So that is why it's important that the dodge counter contributes half of the mark, and her basic attacks contribute this amount going from B3 to B5. Other things worth mentioning, the chain attack does build up silver mark, so doing Anby's chain attack can help build up that mark. It also means that you want to be aware that you could be overcapping whenever you do a chain attack. If your mark filled when you enter stun, you actually can try to use some of it before without hitting the damage or without cashing out the Thunder Smite. Just to get additional hits in, it's free damage. Because you can't, there is no overstack mechanic on Anby's Silver Mark without Mindscapes. And even then, it's limited. Other things worth calling out, EX Special and Chain completely refill the Silver Star. Anytime you use an EX Special or an Ultimate, Silver Star will be completely full. So after you do this, you always want to use the Silver Star attacks. With no exception. This is where the overstack mechanic on, currently it's M1, comes into play. If you overstack with EX Special or Ultimate, M1 gives you the damage from those White Thunder attacks that you would otherwise be losing. As long as you stay on top of your stack management, the M1 doesn't really do that much. If you have a lot of skill issue, the M1 refund could be potentially very enticing. Okay, what are Silver Soldier's core and additional passive? Silver Soldier's core passive is when enemies are marked with the Silver Star, Anby gets damage bonus, and teammates and Anby get damage added to their Aftershock attacks. Okay, not damage added. They get their Aftershock attacks buffed. Yes. When you hit, while Anby is on field, teammate Aftershock attacks have their crit damage increased by 30% of Anby's crit damage. This applies to Anby herself, so she gets additional value out of higher crit damage. That's a very complicated way to say Anby buffs Aftershock attacks. She wants to be paired with teammates who also do Aftershock attacks so they can benefit from this passive. The problem is Pulchra and Trigger currently don't do damage, and especially not with their Aftershock attacks. So look forward to the future for this to be more useful. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Also, Soldier Zero is releasing without Trigger, so people's first impression will be colored by their experience without Trigger, which may be problematic. We'll talk about it later. All right. Additional ability. This is 10% crit rate for Anby, and aftershock damage increases by 25%. This also applies to allies and Anby herself. It is triggered by stun or support. Worth mentioning that it is stun or support now. This is huge and opens up her teams a lot, and definitely leaves a lot of room for future improvement. What does Soldier Zero's gameplay look like? She's an on-field DPS. If you're familiar with Evelyn, you may be a bit familiar with Soldier Zero, except Soldier Zero's resources are something you want to be constantly spending because there is no overstack reward or overstack mechanic. What are you saving resources for, little bro? Use them or lose them. Basically. So if you're fighting a boss in a game mode like Deadly Assault, you want to be fully using Silver Star 2 or 3 times outside of stun. In Shiyu Defense, this may only be 1 time. It could still be 2, though. Throw it out there. We'll see. I have not had the opportunity to play her myself yet, so look forward to that on stream. What is Soldier Zero's skill priority? Her special attack is really important. This is her White Thunder attacks, her Azure Flash attacks, her Thunder Smite attacks, her EX special attack. There's a lot of important stuff on the special skill. That is the #1 priority. After that, basic and chain are somewhat similar. I'm going to give it to basic, though. So I would say special, then basic, then chain, then dodge, and assist is pretty similar to dodge. Now, new segment introduced from the Soldier 11 video. Ooh, fancy. We're going to talk about weaknesses and what I think people's impressions will be and why I think it may be a little problematic. You can basically call Anby disappointing on release. Recently in the changes video, which you may have seen, I made it a point to lampshade Anby's nerfs because I felt that while the nerfs were drastic, I didn't want to bring attention to it, and I didn't want to get the community riled up, because you need to be very careful when dealing with that, because doom posting is a serious thing that happens, and it's not fun to, it's just not fun, not pleasant. So I try to avoid it as much as I can, or I am trying to avoid it as much as I can. Angry Haru eyebrows? Maybe. Angry Haru. So yes, I lampshaded over the nerfs. The problem is I expected her to be cut down and then built back up a little bit with future beta changes. This unfortunately isn't what happened. She's only been nerfed again since. Technically twice. Since the changes video. So Anby is not what she started out as. Good news, they beat the allegations. Anby is not stronger than Evelyn. Anby is not even debatably as strong as Miyabi on release. They did it. That being said, I don't want to call Anby bad. She is pretty directly better than Haramasa. And if you want to compare her to Yanagi, it should also be a favorable comparison. I think Soldier Zero is the current strongest electric DPS, but she is not the most effective way to deal with electric weak content. That is still Miyabi. Part of this issue is Soldier 11 has a... Soldier Zero has a significant amount of her power budget in increasing the damage of teammate aftershock attacks. These teammates don't exist. Trigger and Pulchra have somewhat pathetic damage, and these passives could be much more useful in the future. They could definitely be much more useful in the future, and they probably will be much more useful in the future. The other thing is, even if we pretend that Trigger is going to solve all the problems, realistically, you can expect Trigger to be better than Nicole Astra by about 30%. 20-30%, give or take. It really depends. It's hard to put a number to it. Trigger with her engine buffs about the same amount as Nicole, but Trigger does daze. So the amount of damage you get from entering stun an extra 1 or 2 times will directly influence this result, because at base the damage is technically the same. So it's just how much damage you get from stuns, and that is counting Trigger with her S-rank engine. But Trigger is not with Anby on release. The best team that people will be playing is Nicole Astra or Astra Pulchra, which is a shame because people are most likely going to have a negative impression. I've spoken to a couple content creators and they felt that they were pretty disappointed. So I want to temper expectations, but I do want to make a point to say it's not that bad. It's not, don't doom post. Don't be silly. Relax. She's still plenty good. She's debatably better than Yanagi. Relax. Calm down. It's not a big deal. We're gonna be okay. If you want to talk about the direct Harumasa comparison, Anby's about 10% better than a perfectly piloted Harumasa in a Chingy Nicole team. So, yeah, she is better. That is both. For most players, this will be 15% or more, depending on the amount of dashes you do. That being said, this is not Anby's best team, and this is not how you're forced to play Anby. Basically, what I'm trying to say is Chingy sucks. But if we do want to assume that everyone will play Chingy, which probably shouldn't, at least in my opinion, Anby's engine is about, when you play with Astra Chingy, I know I was talking about Nicole, whatever, it's fine. Whatever. If you play Astra Chingy, Anby's engine is about 33% over the free-to-play options. This is technically more than Harumasa's, so the point of comparison could potentially become non-existent without S-rank engines. That is in a team that I'd argue is suboptimal and something you really shouldn't play. We'll see. We'll see. Unlike Harumasa, Soldier Zero can be played in double support with her additional ability active. This is the 10% crit rate and 25 damage bonus for her and teammates if they did additional, or if they did aftershock attacks. So if you play Astra Nicole, Soldier Zero is strictly better. It's no comparison, even without S-rank engines. The problem with Harumasa there is his additional just isn't active. It will be active if you play Trigger, and when Trigger releases, so we can revisit that comparison with Trigger. But on release, Anby's just kind of strictly better because of this difference. She also just does more damage, is easier to play, and has a larger AoE. But it could also be fair for someone to say, Harumasa is good enough for me. I don't see a lot of reason to pull Soldier Zero. And you know what? It's valid. I don't think it's exactly correct, but I think it's valid. If you want that perspective, go for it. We get a picture of a gopher on screen. Yeah, you know, the little rodent. Gopher. Get the pun. You cut out the part where I explained this one. This one doesn't have to be. This joke explanation isn't funny. This one doesn't have to be in the video. Let's talk about drive discs. It's crit rate or crit damage, depending on how many crit rate subs you have, or if you have M2. M2 gives crit rate. M2 gives crit rate, which means you need less crit rate to hit 100% crit rate. The set gives crit rate, or additional gives crit rate. Her engine does not give crit rate though, so you will most likely need a crit rate slot 4. It is possible for you to have enough crit rate subs to use crit damage though. I would make a point to say you'd use crit damage over attack because of Anby's core passive giving her additional value from crit damage subs, or additional value from crit damage stats. Value. Slot 5, you can use any of them. If you play Nicole, don't use Pen. If you play with Trigger's engine, which also gives Death Shred, technically still can use Pen. They're really that similar. Slot 6, it's attack. Moving on. Best in slot set, it's a new set. It's called Shadow Harmony. It's new. Farm it. It gives 12 attack, 15 damage percent for aftershocks, 12% crit rate. It's a really good set. It's worth farming. The 2-piece is also incredible. 8% anomaly mastery. Seems really, really good. I want to use this on Nicole. I want to use this on Sokaku. I want to use this on Lucy. So, quite good. Quite good. I highly recommend you farm Shadow Harmony. Engines. Severed Innocence. Okay. Engines. Up front, we're going to just boo, 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 boo. All right? Severed Innocence, String Nocturne, Brimstone, the free-to-play engines. Starlight Engine / Mercado Desire. Okay? We'll start at the bottom and work our way up. So we're going to start by talking about Starlight Engine and Mercado Desire. Starlight Engine has a quick assist conditional, but because Trigger procs quick assist and you are most likely going to be playing with Astra, this is basically free now, and you don't have to worry about it. Mercado Desire is unfortunately no longer available. It is still better than Starlight Engine, but if you don't have it, you don't have it, and you can't get it. Okay. Cannon Rotor also works in place of Mercado Desire. I wish the Battle Pass engines were better. It's kind of a shame. Okay. Next best option is Brimstone. This is available from the shop for 30 wishes, or you could lose the 75-25 to it, or you could get it from standard banner. This is better than the free-to-play engines. You can expect to have a high stat count with Anby. It's good. Technically, characters like Astra sway against it, so it can compare favorably, or more favorably than the A-rank engines to the S-rank engines. Or the limited S-rank engines. But with Astra, it's much closer to the A-rank engines than it is the other, or the limited S-rank engine. It is pretty competitive with the crit stick. This is Heartstring and Nocturne, or Zanshin Herb Case, or what's it called? A Riot Suppressor Mark 6. You know, the general crit stick. These engines are all fine. You really shouldn't pull them for Anby. You should pull them for their best in slot characters, and if you happen to have them, you can use them on Anby, but don't expect them to be a substitute for Severed Innocence. Severed Innocence is significantly better than any other engine option. It is 33% over the Starlight engine with Astra. Or if you want to phrase it the other way, Starlight engine is 25% worse than Severed Innocent with Astra. Relative value, isn't it cool? So yeah, engines, it's a really similar story to other DPSs. Technically, Soldier Zero's engine is better than Heartstring Nocturne is on Evelyn, if you need like a point of comparison for what that might look like. That is a potential point of reference. Okay. Let's talk about teams. On release, the best team will be Astra Nicole. By the end of the patch, the best team will be Astra Trigger. If you do not have Astra / want to use Astra, your next best options are Caesar, Nicole, or Lucy. With Trigger or without Trigger. So on release, I'm recommending Nicole Astra, number 1. Number 2, I'm going to recommend Astra Caesar. After that, Astra Pulchra. If you're looking for a team without Astra, again, like the literal bare minimum team is going to be like Lucy Pulchra or Nicole Pulchra. Which, honestly, I think Pulchra is neat. Pulchra is a lot better than people have been giving credit for, since they recently made the decision to buff her in an unexpected way. Her at M6, Pulchra's 30% aftershock damage bonus now applies to all damage types, significantly buffing Pulchra from where she was, but still not where she was initially. But she is better than people will give credit for. Pulchra buffing all damage types also means that M6 Pulchra can be played with other characters. So that's great. Good change. Doom post M0 Pulchra? Sure. Caesar Pulchra? Yeah, you can do Caesar Pulchra, absolutely. Is she better than Stun Anby? Yes. Yes, she is. Anby Pulchra Trigger Team, okay. Sure, go for it. Whew. So, yeah, those are Anby's teams. There is one missing here. It's because I feel that Qingyi is not very good outside of Shiyu defense. It's possible Qingyi could be very good in Shiyu defense with Soldier Zero, but outside of it, it's really questionable to the point where I don't recommend pulling Qingyi for Soldier Zero. If you happen to have her, she's absolutely an option. You want to play the clip of I play Qingyi with my ass? Do you want to play the clip? You could play. You could reuse that clip if you want. You can reuse. He might have lost it. He might have. But yeah, Qingyi should be very good in Shield defense, but she may just generally underperform everywhere else. Like Qingyi with your ba. Mindscape Cinema. M1 has a quality of life element to it, which is overstacking on EX Special and Ultimate will still give you the White Thunder damage. This cannot trigger Thunder Smite, so it may not necessarily be a damage increase, but it does patch up spill issue. M2 is crit rate, and after using the ultimate, you get free White Thunder and Azure Flash attacks. M2 is incredible. It's like a 25% damage increase. It's great. M3 and M5 are always 8 to 9% damage increase. But you also get a name card with M3, so worth mentioning. M4 is 12% red shred for all attacks while the enemy is marked by a silver star. So this actually should apply to the team as well. I need a fact check on that. There's not a ton of off-field electric damage sources to check with, but it should. Maybe it says ignore. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It might. M6 is also great. After triggering 6 instances of White Thunder, additional damage for 1000% of Soldier Zero's attack is electric damage. This is considered aftershock. It's great. Like, her M6 is also very good. Anby, say whatever you want about Silver Soldier or Soldier Zero on release. Her mindscapes are very good. So if that's what you're there for, you'll be very happy. So yeah, that is Soldier Zero. You may be a bit disappointed. You may be satisfied now that I've lowered expectations a bit. Yeah, because I've lowered expectations, I hope you are much happier than you would expect to be when she releases. I'm self-aware, chat. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Yeah, it's intentional. I lower your expectations so you can be surprised and be happy. Trust. Trust. It's part of the system, okay? It's so over. It's so over. We're so back curve. You know how it works. So yeah, while you may feel disappointed coming off this video, don't expect to be disappointed on release, maybe. You may be pleasantly surprised. Now that I've pointed it out, the magic trick may not work. You'll call me a fraud and a liar and a cheater. And you know what? I can take it. Come at me, bro. Come on. Square up. I'll see you in the Denny's parking lot. That's the outro. That's the outro. Call me frog. Sure. Okay, cool. Ooh. Denny's is mid, it's true. Dark March, you mean Casterus? Casterus is also kind of bad. Casterus is... Bernice or ZN next? We'll have to do both.
We got new stock in today. Come check it out.
I want to wait until we get the beta information for, Vivian. Because if Vivian is like...
Catch you again soon. We get new stock in all the time.
If Vivian is anything more than an Ether Bernice, you might have the negative Bernice take. I don't know. We'll see. right now, my opinion on Bernice is very positive. I think Bernice is great. That is my opinion right now. I think Bernice is great. If you just wanted to know, I think Bernice is great. If that's all you wanted to hear, go for it. Bernice makes Jane work. Yeah, Bernice makes Jane work.
Leaving so soon.
And to turn coat on Bernice. Did you ever have such a brain rot song? Ain't no way. Just play them both in the same team? True.
Welcome in. What mods
Or
are you
anything
going
about
through
2.0? Yeah, we have. You may not have been listening for it. Word for the is Miyabi? No, people will just assume he's not. People will just... I'm never gonna get that question because people will just assume he's bad because he's a dude. Because he's... Keep it at 100% real. No one's gonna ask that question. No one's gonna... They'll be surprised if you say he is. And he probably won't be. They may just make an intentionally bad character. I don't know. Especially if Vivian is a Miyabi buff. Okay, how do I, like, rephrase this? If Vivian is a Miyabi buff, Miyabi will blow out every team in the game. Again. She'll be doing laps. We'll see. So Kaku is better than anyone else. Okay. Bernice on neutral. Yeah, she's cool. Finally, a Miyabi buff. I've been so tired of waiting. What? M6 Pulchra? Yeah, M6 Pulchra is always better than A rank Anby.
Wish I could get out of here early.
Rename her to Mia Goat. She's a goat Thyran. She's a VIV is actually a goat Thyran. Is it safe to expect a third teammate that will buff Anby? Most likely, yeah. Miyabi buff gives Nuvolette buff energy. You know, I'd agree, except Nuvolette's now cancelled. He's over. Nuvolette is now mid. Real. It's Nuvolette over. Bro fell off. Elbows a rip. Elbows. Overrated trash. They buff Nuvolette 5 times in one patch just to power creep him later. Gotta love it. It's certainly a choice.
Nothing slips through my
Wait, what's happening to Villette? Mavlika's like 50% better. Mavlika's ugh. You could argue Nivelette is the new mid, sure. I think that's a bit of an extreme thing to say, but he'll always be an AoE god. Speaking of extreme things to say, he'll always be an AoE god in our heart. They'll buff him again, don't worry. Don't worry, he'll get buffed again, it'll be fine.
Nothing slips through my defense.
That's 9, right? Yep. It really is just that Mavlika is too good. Mavlika is, she's kind of overwhelmingly, she's just too good. I think Mavlika is a bit of a mistake. Mavlika. We'll see what else they release. Genshin feels so dead these days, it really does. I've been burnt out, basically for most of that one.
Your journey ends with me.
That one broke the stream. That one did break me. That one completely broke me. Ugh. The Skirk set lore. Ooh, did I do the music event? No. No, I did not. I haven't been logging in either, so it doesn't matter. I haven't been. We'll be back later. Now is just not the right time for me. I just haven't been feeling it. There is nothing wrong with taking a break. You can always come back later. Varessa seems fun, though. Okay. Okay, maybe... Okay, I'm not that excited for Varessa. I am excited for a Chlorant buff. I am excited. It's stupid, but I'm excited for a small Chlorant buff. It's... That's what I'm excited for. My mid-goat. What was Bernice good for besides Jane? Miyabi. Basically the same shit because of ER. Because of ER. You don't think it's a noticeable buff for Chlorant? It's not. But shut up. It's not, but shut up.
Your journey ends with me.
Uh...
Don't even
Don't take away my fun. But yeah, that is probably the thing I'm most excited for out of the patch. I think I would be lying if I said I was excited for a plunge DPS. I am on record for hating Gaming's gameplay and most plunge characters in general. Plunge is just not my favorite thing. I think plunge mechanics are not fun. Getting stuck under enemies is a frustrating experience. Gaming is just an energy regen disaster. It's just... unless you end chambers on perfect rotations, which doesn't happen most of the time without a lot of effort. So, Gaming is very... it's just not my favorite. It's just... I find it unpleasant. I'm sure Furina will have less of those issues. I don't think Furina can get stuck under enemies. Because she launches herself into the air. So that shouldn't be a concern. Keyword shouldn't.
Nothing slips through my
Next Tuesday, right? Yep, Anby's next week. Okay, so the editor got the video. We're actually done the reset, so...
your journey ends with me.
we're basically good. Oh. Monster Hunter. Yeah, I have a hot take. Monster Hunter Wilds is not very good. It's not as good. It's not as good as World. Sorry. Mostly below it. It doesn't hit. Okay. Well, let's ignore the technical issues. The open world thing just doesn't really work. I've actually been playing Dishonored. Dishonored is a pretty good game. High rank? I did get the high rank, yes. I might like Monster Hunter Wilds more if I could play it on Steam Deck. If I could play it on Steam Deck, I might like it more.
The best defense is a strong offense.
Is it worth buying a PC for Wilds? No. M6 Anby or M6 Evelyn. I think I'd be surprised if Anby's M6 isn't technically better. I also don't think I really care.
All exits are now free.
Only the open world? No, I don't think it works very well. It also removes a lot of the charm because you don't have the attachment to the hub area. The hub area is like it's an important part of Monster Hunter. Bring back the feline chef. Yes. The hub in Monster Hunter is kind of wild. Yeah, it's a choice. Also, high rank doesn't introduce many monsters that weren't in low rank. The game kind of shows you everything in low rank. Once you've completed low rank, you've basically seen it all. Mostly. High rank. So, I didn't even know that. Recommend World. Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World. Yeah. Bit of a short stream, but honestly, I'm good with it. Take care. I'm gonna run. Speaking of Monster Hunter, we'll raid Kanto.